The second I heard him laughing that loudly at the dinner table, I understood everything was about to change. He lifted his drink with that smug expression plastered across his face, the overhead lights creating dramatic shadows. His voice boomed so everyone could hear. "Seriously, Jack," he announced while the room went silent. "You're pushing 30 and still figuring things out. Why not take some notes from someone who's got it all figured out?" The entire table erupted in laughter. Even my own sister joined in, trying to cover her mouth, but I caught it. I stayed completely still, didn't react, didn't give him the satisfaction of knowing what had already begun inside my head, because his destruction was already complete. He just hadn't realized it yet. Daniel entered my life about 12 months before that unforgettable evening. When I first met him, he seemed like success personified, perfectly groomed, welcoming smile, confident handshake, the type of presence that commands attention the instant he walks in. My sister brought him home and called him her forever person. I chose to trust that. I wanted it to be true for her sake. After everything she'd been through, she deserved stability. Genuine affection, something real. When Daniel learned I was her brother, he shook my hand a second time, gripping harder, as though proving something mattered to him. It convinced me. I actually believed in him. Looking back now, what a mistake. Things started unraveling through tiny cracks. An oddly detailed question about where I worked, specific inquiries about projects at my company, a knowing grin whenever I discussed business travel. I ignored the red flags, until one evening when his name appeared in classified company documents. Daniel Rivers, flagged for termination, under investigation for suspected embezzlement. My heart didn't pound. I didn't feel sick. Instead, everything inside me became laser-focused. Because Daniel wasn't just employed by my organization. He reported directly to me, and he had absolutely no clue. The proof accumulated bit by bit. Unexplained wire transfers, erased communication records, falsified authorization signatures. Each clue pulled me further into the web of his recklessness. But discovering the financial crimes wasn't what shattered me completely. What destroyed me was finding pictures of her on his device, my sister. Not the carefully curated images she shared publicly, but the intimate, vulnerable ones, the kind only shared with someone you completely trust. This wasn't just corporate theft anymore. He was manipulating her systematically, slowly cutting off her independence, making her financially dependent on him while sabotaging everything in secret. He was a leech disguising himself as her partner, wearing her trust like some sick prize. That evening I made my choice. No dramatic confrontation. No advance warning for her. No opportunity for him to scheme his way out. I would take him apart methodically, silently, thoroughly. My strategy started rolling 2 weeks before the family gathering. Step 1, I suspended his system access, blaming routine security protocols. Then I began feeding him false intelligence, fabricated reports. He accepted as legitimate. Inflated figures he repeated confidently, fake forecasts he bragged about to others. After that, I arranged a closed-door session with human resources and our legal department. Just facts. Zero emotion. I presented everything, the unauthorized transfers, the systematic deception, the forged documents. Before they finished reviewing the evidence, Daniel Rivers had already become professionally extinct. But I wasn't finished. I reversed the stolen funds back into company accounts he'd emptied, not using corporate money, but draining his personal reserves instead. Then I followed the money to discover another woman he'd been secretly supporting financially. Not my sister. Someone completely different. I compiled everything into a comprehensive file, printed it professionally, sealed it carefully, and quietly placed it inside my sister's bag the morning of our family dinner. The last piece was elegantly simple. I personally invited Daniel to join us that evening. Back to that moment. Back to his obnoxious laughter. Back to his insufferable arrogance. He genuinely believed he was invincible. He actually thought he'd outsmarted everyone present. I sat there watching him drink, watching him chuckle again at his own jokes, watching his phone suddenly vibrate against the tablecloth. Human resources calling. His confidence cracked just slightly. Then my sister's phone chimed. She opened the message, the one containing the photographs, the financial records, the other woman, the mountain of lies. Color drained from her face instantly. Her hands started shaking. She stared at him as though seeing a complete stranger for the first time. "Daniel," she breathed, barely audible. "What am I looking at?" His carefully constructed reality shattered. That's when he finally looked directly at me, truly seeing me for the first time. Not the passive younger brother, Not the convenient target for his jokes, but the person who'd engineered his complete downfall. He'd walked straight into the trap. "You orchestrated this!" he hissed through clenched teeth, struggling to breathe. I leaned back calmly, my voice quiet but clear. "I gave you fair warning once," I replied evenly. "Show respect toward my sister." His chair scraped violently backward as he shot to his feet. But there was nowhere left to run. Not from reality. Not from the termination email destroying his career. Not from the woman he'd deceived. Not from the sister whose life he'd tried to steal. Not from his own actions. He left without speaking another word. Without his relationship, without his job, without the future he'd tried to build on lies. My sister broke down that night, but her tears came from finally understanding the truth, not from losing him. And me? I slept peacefully for the first time in months, because real revenge isn't explosive rage. It's calculated precision. It's disciplined patience. It's bringing justice through controlled, deliberate action, and my execution had never been more flawless.